There's a commercial I saw on TV some years ago that I absolutely adore. In the commercial, there was a little boy dressed as a baseball player. He had a ball and he had a bat in his hand, and he walked out to a baseball field and he stood there at home plate. He got in the batter's box and he propped himself, and then all of a sudden he said, "I'm the greatest hitter in the world." And he threw the ball up in the air and he swung at it and he missed. Swung pretty hard. And he collected himself. He picked up the ball, stood at home plate again, planted his feet, said, "I'm the greatest hitter in the world." And he threw the ball up once again, and this time he swung at it harder, missed it, his cap fell off, picked himself up, picked up his cap, picked up the ball, put his cap on his head, stood there at home plate again. He said, one more time, "I'm the greatest hitter in the world." And he threw the ball up and he swung at it so hard, he missed it again, that he fell on his tush. His cap went flying, the bat went flying, and he picked himself up, dusted himself, picked up his cap, picked up his bat, picked up the ball, and then he just said, "I'm the greatest pitcher in the world." And then there was this little sign that came on the screen that said, "It pays to be an optimist." Now, for you little people that don't know what an optimist is, what that means is it pays, it's good to be someone who always sees the bright side of things. And Jesus is saying that same thing today to his apostles. You know, this gospel passage is taken from the Last Supper, and he knows that they are about to go through some very bad times when he undergoes his passion and his death. And so he tells them, "You will be in anguish. Don't worry. You will rejoice again. You will see me again, and your joy will be complete." He's trying to plant in their head that as they go through their difficult times, as they go through their sufferings, it's important to see the bright side of things. Try to see the bright side of things. And the Lord says the same thing to us. What a great message for us who have been locked up, right, for a couple of months, for us who have, been deprived of so many things that we're used to, that we typically enjoy, for us who are tired and maybe, getting a little bored of same old, the same four walls, the same people, etc., etc. The Lord is saying, look on the bright side. Look at the bright side of things. And the Lord wants to help us do that. If you really think about what we've been trying to do since this shutdown, when I say we, Father Alex, myself, with all the stuff that we try to say to you in these homilies, with all the stuff that we try to put up on the website, and I know that those songs, you really enjoy them, we're very glad you do, but through all of that stuff, all we're trying to help you do is to see the bright side of things in spite of all that may be going wrong, in spite of the fact that we may feel like we're striking out. We may be doing a lot better than we actually think. I am sure that there are some things during these past few months that you have learned that you never would have learned otherwise about life, I said to someone the other day who was telling me, oh, Father, kids are trying to learn, but I don't know how much they may be learning through these circumstances with schooling and all that. And, God knows the kids are trying, the teachers are trying. And I said to that person, I said, let me tell you, you know what they're learning about? They're learning about life. And the lessons that they are learning are priceless. There are some realities that maybe you kids and you parents, you adults, may have taken for granted that now you appreciate so much more. And it's important to notice these things. It's important to be optimistic about what we view and how we view our current reality or any other challenges or troubles that we may go through. I saw an interesting interview the other day on TV. They were interviewing Jerry Seinfeld. Now, for you kids, you probably have no idea who Jerry Seinfeld is. He is a great comedian. He had a famous TV show for many years called Seinfeld, and he's a great stand-up comic. But anyway, they were interviewing him in his house. So he's sitting there in his living room, and he was talking about going through these times and this shutdown. And he said, well, of course, it's been hard. He said, but I've rediscovered some joys that I had lost. And he said, for example, now I'll wake up in the middle of the night because I may be a little hungry, and I go to the pantry, and I open up the pantry, and I see a box of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes there. And it gives me a joy that I never ever had before about seeing Frosted Flakes. And I say, thank God there's Frosted Flakes. Jerry Seinfeld is an optimist. A little kid in the commercial was an optimist. Jesus was a huge optimist. The question